and welcome to Etiquette Conversations with Afi and Shirley, where we redefine modern etiquette one conversation at a time. Today, we're taking a very wonderful topic: the power of presence and respect, harnessing nonverbal communications for big impact. With me is my co host, Shirley.
Hello, I'm Shirley Shalaby. One more time, more conversations about etiquette and respect and politeness and everything positive. Welcome aboard with us. Thank you.
Now, they say that actions speak louder than words. But have you ever stopped to think about the silent messages you send every day? From the way you walk into a room to the simple nod of acknowledgement, your nonverbal cues hold the power to transform relationships, command respect, and leave a lasting impression. Today, we'll uncover the untapped power of presence and respect. Tools you already have, but may not know how to wield them effectively. Now, if you've ever wondered how to command attention without speaking, or how small gestures of respect can ripple through lives, you are in the right place. By the end of this session, you'll have actionable insights to elevate your communication and your relationships, one silent message at a time.
Mhm.
Today, our overview will be that we're going to look at the profound connection between presence and respect as cornerstones of success, how nonverbal communication, things like posture, gestures, tone, poise can leave lasting impacts, and practical steps to harness these tools for your professional and personal success. I will now invite my co host. You remember, I've always told you she's a veteran. She's an etiquette veteran. She's written several books, and I invite her at this time to speak to us about presence and respect.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you forever. I'm so looking forward, yes, indeed, to engage in that dialogue about presence and about positive behavior in general, and particularly respect being having a precious value that shapes everyday, daily interactions. Respect, I consider it having respect in our life. It is like a fundamental pillar upon which our life is, the architecture of our relationship is built. It is the cornerstone of any relationship that is positive. It is the guidance that uh, directs our behavior to the positive way. I would like to really elaborate on respect. Why is it that important? Because we need respect in all the calls of life, every minute, everywhere. So, as usual, I like to apply my words into examples, into situations and manifestations that happen in our life. So, let's say we start with a family. Why would they need respect among them? It's one family. Indeed, it's one family. However, every member of this family has got different passions, different habits, different temperament, different personality and perspective to life. The role of the parents to embrace, to validate all that, to validate this difference and to honor it, and to embrace all the children into one huge daily dialogue, or as much as they can. Those open dialogues, they prepare the family to meet the world with confidence, with comfort, being comforted by
Mhm.
themselves, by their own family. Now, when the children move to school, I think tutors or teachers should consider, and I'm sure they do, consider respecting children's freedom, respecting students' diversity. Some students are more intelligent than others. Some students are talkative. Some students are silent and quiet and timid. because of many, many reasons. The role of the tutors is to engage everybody and to respect this diversity and to include them, to create a society of inclusivity based on respect, a culture of
mm,
respect in this academic school, and
mm,
get them ready to move to another level. What is the other level? Let me tackle the subject of working for a big company. In a company, colleagues represent the diversity of the world. Some colleagues are verbally elaborate, some colleagues are quiet, some colleagues are faster than others, some are, I would say, more intelligent, more capable than others. Indeed, the team leaders should embrace everybody and include everybody and present feedbacks. All colleagues are supposed, if they respect the others, present feedbacks and reactions and interactions to create a mood of camaraderie, of friendship into a department, into the team, and hence that team becomes stronger and stronger, and the company becomes stronger. If we move to public life, everyday life, small acts in everyday life in the street, like opening the door for someone at the supermarket or at the restaurant, and with a bit of a smile, like saying thank you, saying please, with a bit of a smile too, like
mm,
giving a seat to an elderly lady on the bus, or giving a seat to a pregnant lady. All these acts are kind of respect to humanity, to the other
mm, mm,
individuals. And we meet this on a daily basis, and we build it and we build on it, and we learn and we practice. That is just important. The
mm,
biggest part of respect is what you've already mentioned, Effie, is the role of body language. Body language, every person uses body language to communicate with others. Body language is a silent etiquette, it's a silent movement that is rehearsed, and it is accepted universally. There are some movements that are accepted universally and followed universally, like the handshaking and others of the sort. How could body language uh, represent respect, foster respect? How could that be? This is in every step, because honestly, you have to know that people see each other's, okay, they meet each other's, and they decide without that other person, even he did not open his mouth, they decide, I like him or I don't like him. And that's
mhm.
based on his body language, that could be friendly or unfriendly. And
Right.
people take a mental snapshot of each other's, and they keep that data in their mind for a
Mhm.
long time. They,
Yeah.
no, no, I did not like him the first time I saw him. It's exactly like the sentence of Will Rogers that said, you never get a second chance for a first impression. Honestly,
Mm,
it is difficult. Yes, you can change it, but you have to work hard on it. So that silent etiquette, or that silent movement, is indeed louder than words. It's
mm,
stronger than if you said a few words. Your body movement has an effect.
mm,
And etiquette or respect is part of it, and it could be rehearsed. And this new nature or a second nature could be created if people rehearse on a few movements. So let's apply it to situations again, which is my baby. I like to do that. If you are going into a cocktail party and you enter the room and there are lots and lots of people, how could you make an impactful entry? First of
mm,
all, an impactful entry is based on your body language. You cannot talk as soon as you walk in and use the charm of your words. No, you will walk in with a sense of purpose. You will walk in by looking people in their eyes and with a bit of a grin or a smile,
mm,
like, I am
mhm,
happy to join this party. You give your back to the door and your
mhm,
face to people. You do not turn around and give them your back. No, a sense of purpose. Rather than entering the room while having a cell phone in your hand, which some people do, unfortunately, because they don't know how to break the ice at the party. The cell
Mm,
phone, and then they talk and then talk on a cell phone. So that is not giving a nice impression, that is giving a negative impression. It could be disrespectful for the person who is holding the party. Once you walk into the party and then you meet people, you can be standing up. The posture sends broadcasts respect. If it's a straight posture with proper deportment, with an eye contact, with a lot of energy, arms on the side or arms behind the back, no crossing arms during a party, or indeed, if you're holding a glass, make sure right away you get a glass or you accept a glass from the waiter. Make sure you hold it with your left hand so your right hand is ready to handshake. So posture is important and is a sign. You can use your posture as a sign of objectivity, as a sign of friendship and friendliness. Posture. All right, you have to sit down. Some people, as soon as they find a chair, although cocktail parties people are meant to be standing up at least half of the time. This is why they
mhm,
do not attend the cocktail party for more than 2 to 3 hours max.
mm,
They give you a span of time in an invitation, and you can come between 5 and 8. So, assuming you found a chair, sitting, collapsing on a chair is something, or sitting at the edge and sliding in while holding the two hands is something else. Sitting with elegance, sitting with a straight posture, sitting with interest while being engaged with other people, rather than sitting in a corner again and disregarding everybody else. Um, the role of smiling is important. Smiling has a language, is a language, and smiling is contagious. If you smile, people smile back. And if you talk with a smile, you have a nicer voice,
mhm.
and it is indeed contagious. And again, the eye contact has an important role um, within a dialogue. Let me say something that people should avoid also at encounters and meetings at parties. Leaving a distance between people is important. Every person has got an aura around him, like the air that is around him. I used to call it air around me when I was a little girl. Do not invade this aura, and do not come very close to a person while talking to him. This is honestly a bad habit, and it could be, people could be trained if they realize that this is upsetting other people. They could be trained at leaving a distance while they talk to others. And worse than that is touching each other's. I mean, if I really see that my girlfriend's necklace is a bit crooked, please do not touch it, and do not initiate the movement of fixing it yourself. You can
Mm.
indeed mention it to her, but no touching. Touching in encounters should not go beyond handshakes. And handshake has got rules, which we know about
Wonderful.
already, and we can elaborate another time. However, we can go beyond handshakes with hugs and kisses with good friends. This is also normal. But touching during a dialogue is really not recommended and not respectful to the other person, to the freedom of the other person. We have to
Wow.
honor their freedom, and that's very important. Back to you, Effie.
Shirley, so wonderfully said, and where you talked about not touching people, because a lot of people don't know about this, and it's so important that we're speaking about it in this platform.
Mhm.
I would want to talk about respect and presence, which is also body language.
Mm.
Presence is more than just entering a room. It's the energy you bring and the way you make others feel around you.
Oh,
It's
yes.
your ability to command attention, exude confidence, and leave people curious or inspired by your mere presence. Now, let's break it down. Just imagine or think about a leader walking into a meeting without saying a word. Their posture, their eye contact, their calm demeanor, it establishes authority immediately. It commands respect. Or imagine someone in a casual gathering who seems approachable and confident. You will see that it will draw people to him effortlessly. Imagine you going to a bank, or yes, imagine you going into a bank and there are several tellers in the tills. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you walk in, they're all looking at you. You would observe that it's the one that is most approachable that you
Absolutely.
walk to. Now, what's going on within those 5 seconds? What's going on in your mind? The first impression they created when you entered the room, how they smiled, their body language. We all do these things, but do we take cognizance of the fact that we are all reading people's body language, their presence? So, presence is very, very important. It has psychological impact, influencing how we perceive others and how others perceive us and how they respond to us. Now, there are key elements of presence. One is posture, which you spoke about, posture. And posture, it's about the way you carry yourself, the way you carry yourself, your head, your shoulders, how you present yourself to people. You want to do it, your chin parallel to the floor. You want to reduce how many times you slouch, that's dropping your shoulders. You want to avoid it. Every time you're keeping an erect posture, your heads up, you present yourself as someone that commands respect and that you are very confident. So one of the things about presence and body language is really your posture, and that's the first thing. The next thing you mentioned earlier is eye contact. Eye contact, a direct gaze builds trust and respect. Too little eye contact might seem evasive, and too much of it might also seem intimidating. So you want to practice keeping your
Exactly.
eyes, like an MPs has said, you want to practice every time someone is talking to you, you want to practice keeping your eyes from the forehead to the left shoulder to the right shoulder and just keeping it around that area of the person you're communicating. What about your gestures? Purposeful movement, your handshakes, or a confident wave. Those are ways you can increase and enhance your presence. And then breathing. Controlled deep breath signals calmness and composure,
Mm.
especially in pressured situations. I used to have a boss when I used to work in the financial industry who was so much in control of his emotions. And before he would speak, he would take his time, ensure he has thought carefully about every word. And at best, he would just say, let's get straight to the point. That means when you hear him say that, it means he's really getting upset. But you can see that he carries himself with so much dignity and respect. And then another thing is power poses. We can keeping your shoulder, keeping your hands on your hips, can also be a power pose, and then you can lean forward. Not when I say keeping your hands on your hip, it's not, I'm not saying you should stand at akimbo, but I'm just saying you should do it in a way that your feet firmly planted on the floor. These are ways you can boost your confidence internally and externally. Now, there are practical tips that I think that we can also use in cultivating presence. Um, I mean, practicing mindfulness, self awareness is one of the ways. Understand your body language and your surroundings. When you go into a place, observe with your eyes and speak less with your mouth. Practice
Mhm.
mindfulness. Be aware of your body language every time you are in the midst of people. We've talked about power poses. Learn to be intentional. Silent messages. Be intentional during conversation. What it exhibits is that it exhibits thoughtfulness and control when you use pauses intentionally. Respect through body language. If you listen, when you listen, you want to lean forward slightly, you want to nod occasionally, you want to maintain eye contact. Those are ways that tell me you respect my opinions and what I'm talking about. Now, in basic nonverbal communications, we say that a crossed hand means you're close. But in advanced body language, crossed arms could mean I want to know
Exactly.
more. I want to listen more. Tell me, imagine you making a presentation to your boss, and he's sitting and he leans out a bit. He's saying, I want to hear you more. It means you've struck a chord. It means you've said something he wants to listen more to. So you can nod, you can lean forward, you can make
Mhm.
eye contact, you can nod slightly. This demonstrate that you are not disengaged. And then I want to talk again about cultural sensitivity, which is very important. You have to be culturally sensitive when it comes to your presence and your respect. Um, in the West, direct eye contact and shaking of hands are signs that you respect people, a firm handshake. But in Asia, like a place like Japan,
Mhm.
bowing down shows respect. And silence in communication also
Yeah.
exhibits respect, because that's, though we're going to talk more about it next week, that
Very
exhibits,
interesting. Mhm.
yes, that exhibits understanding
Mhm.
that they are indirect in their communication, not like the West that is direct. In Nigeria, where I come from, people would want you to bow. People want you to address them with titles. You can prostrate,
Oh, how
address them
lovely.
by their titles. And surely,
Mhm.
I want to talk about the feeling of importance. Um, Someone who is a lecturer in a university, a professor, would want you to address him by his title, professor. What he's trying
Absolutely.
to say is that I have achieved this milestone in my life, and I would want you to address me. So, whatever people want you to address, respectfully address their feeling of importance. Please feed it. Respect as a silent language. I would say that it's the unspoken glue that strengthens connections and it builds trust. It doesn't always require words. It's often conveyed through small thoughts and thoughtful actions. A smile, a nod, opening of the door. These are all ways that we can show respect. You talked about the aura, and which is so wonderful. You must respect people's personal space. You must respect people's personal space. Some people, when it comes to tone and tempo, when you speak, you want to mirror the other person's tempo when they are speaking.
Absolutely.
If I am speaking slowly with clarity and you are speaking so fast, I would think you do not respect me. So these are all things that go on in the head of people. What about tone? If I'm speaking in a low tone and then you're speaking in a high, some people say, oh, that's the way I talk. Or they'll say, that's the pitch of my voice. And I say, no, you can speak. You can just you can speak more slowly, and that's where I come to the reciprocity of respect. When you show respect through your non-verbal cues, it encourages others to treat you the same way. And so if you smile at someone, what you get back is a
A
smile.
smile.
If you show people, somebody says that respect is reciprocal, so you must try to respect people through your presence as well. Now, here's the magic, Shirley, and I want to hit this quickly. Presence
Lovely.
commands attention and authority, but respect
Lovely.
earns trust. Together, you know what they create? Authenticity and influence. Imagine, like I've said, walking
Absolutely.
into a room and immediately acknowledging someone with a genuine smile. What would happen at that point? It would build rapport, it would build trust, and at the same time, your presence, your body language brings influence and commands respect for you. The ripple effect of presence and respect. Great leaders, they really embody both. And great leaders take time to learn about this. Think of figures like Nelson Mandela or Jacinta Ardern, people who not only inspired others through their presence, but also make others feel valued. So as you go into businesses, as you go into your business
Very
place, as you
important.
go into meetings, you want to convey that respect and make people feel that you are giving them that respect, you value them, you want to feed their feeling of importance. It could be in little ways. There are just little acts that we do that shows respect through our body language, through our presence. And Shirley, I'd want you to um, I'd want you to talk to us about respect in public places,
Mhm.
in elevators and escalators.
Let me comment on what you said because it's really lovely. In your explanation, respect means unselfishness. I mean,
Mhm,
thinking of others, validating the needs of others, and not, I love the sentence of, I don't care, I have a loud voice. No, you cannot say this because you are part of the global society, and
mhm,
our globe is indeed shrinking. So you are part of this big society and you are part of a smaller society, and you cannot say, I don't care, I am like this. Indeed, each person can work on himself, and this is to be acquired until we get better. And this is how we are unselfish and we foster respect among the atmosphere that is around us. Back
mm,
to public places, yes. Again, I love to talk about examples because it makes it hands on for our viewers and listeners. I would like to mention again, if two people decide to meet up for lunch or for cocktails, um, and they've been really looking forward to see each other's, one of them is fully attentive to the dialogue and fully looking forward. The other person is simply busy checking the messages on the cell phone, smiling to the cell phone because of the jokes, and then giving that other person a sort of divided
mm,
attention, not undivided, in between one message and another, and sometimes without apology. So that is really selfishness and thinking of oneself and really not honoring the society that is around him or her.
mm,
Also, uh, this is, we don't, I mean, we don't advise this kind of behavior. Also, this is life, but nowadays people write more messages than they talk. I mean, they announce news, they announce parties, they announce death with on platforms, and I mean, our digital life communication is taking us a
mm,
lot. Respecting others by avoiding toxic messages, toxic comments, shocking comments. Please make sure the comments are interesting, are educational, are informative, and they could be funny, but yet not toxic and not aggressive. So, digital contacts or being on social media has got a decorum of respect that one needs to follow.
Mm,
Back to public places, we have not covered the idea of, do we need respect when we get into an elevator? Every time I get into an elevator, I think of that. What is an elevator or a lift in British? It's a small cubicle that is indeed a public place. Once you move to the elevator, one has to be mindful with one's voice. We cannot keep the same pitch, the same loud voice, because suddenly the echo will be very strong. And so we move. I grew up in a country where people are very loud and very alive and lovely, but the voice, no, the voice pollution is sometimes very high. So one has to be careful. Getting into an elevator, the pitch goes down, and all what you're supposed to do is press on the open door to let the people in and
mm,
out. The closest person to the door is the one who enters first or the exits first. There is no difference of gender, honestly, when it comes to an elevator in a company, or because things have to be smooth and easy going. Um, if we talk about elevator, I don't mind talking about escalators. We all know that in an escalator, well, going up from the left is going fast because I'm in a hurry. The right, the people who stand by the right, don't mind standing and going up through the elevator at the pace of the elevator, of the escalator. Once we reach the top, please, you have to be mindful. And this, if you're still not sure you're going left or right, please take a step to the right so that you do not stop the traffic and then decide where to go.
wow.
This is again being mindful to the needs of others. So, as you see, respect and politeness needs authentic
Wow.
etiquette. Authenticity is
Oh.
empathy. Authenticity is validating the needs of
Mm-hmm.
others and honoring
Right.
them. Authenticity is inclusivity. I'm giving a chance to everyone. I do not just think of myself and I don't care what happens.
Wow.
Um, it's a lovely subject, and then we need to elaborate more and more depending on the time we're
Okay.
allocated.
So I'd want to add this small acts of respect to practice and implement daily. You can offer a genuine smile or a compliment when you can to someone. It shows you value them. Acknowledge someone's effort with a simple thank you or a thumbs up. And then be age sensitive when
That's a
you do a
lovely
thumbs
comment.
up. Write a quick note of appreciation if it doesn't take long, but it means a lot. Now, you can dedicate 5 minutes each evening to reflect on your nonverbal interactions. Observe people who embody presence and respect and command it, and take notes of their behavior and how they carry themselves. Challenge yourself to learn one new cultural custom a month to broaden your perspective of how people behave outside. Today, to all our viewers, I and Shirley have spoken to you on presence as your ability to command attention and respect and inspire confidence. We've said that respect is a silence language that builds trust, rapport, and you can do it with empathy. We've talked about non-verbal communications and that it is the bridge
Mhm.
that connects these two, creating big impacts in your personal and professional life. Now, take a moment to reflect upon your non-verbal cues daily. Are you showing up in your, how are you showing up in your interactions? Are your actions commanding respect? Remember, small changes in posture, gestures, and expression can create profound transformation. Start with one little act of respect, posture, and gesture today, and watch the ripple effects that it brings to you. Next week, we'll be speaking more about it, and we'll be speaking on crossing borders, mastering multicultural etiquette in a globalized world. Remember, my closing quote is respect is earned, presence is felt. Nonverbal communication is the bridge that builds them. And from me to
Absolutely.
you, now, Shirley,
Absolutely, absolutely. Nonverbal communication is a very important means of communication, and it shows a lot the person. The person, we can judge the person through his body language and through the dictionary of his body language. So it's very, very important to practice, to listen, and there is nothing wrong with changing and acquiring new habits. It's always good to learn. We learn every day. I enjoyed it tremendously today, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And looking forward to next week with the new ideas.
thank you for joining us on Etiquette Conversations with Afi and Shirley, where we redefine modern etiquette one conversation at a time. Join us same time next week. Thank you and bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.